Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at Gabriel Martinelli, the Arsenal youngster, Brazilian, 19 years old, a very good Wonderkid look by the looks of things at this stage. Can play anywhere across the front three as well as up top. He's not performed played possibly as much as some of the Arsenal fans would have liked. £6 million they signed him for, which isn't really a bad result from ITU. In Brazil, Ituano. A not bad signing really, considering the deets. Looks a very nice looking player overall. Some good physical stats and mental stats. Works hard, which is always nice to see, especially if you're looking at getting that gegenpress sort of thing out. No youth caps or games for the Brazilian national team, but still not bad. He is out for 5 to 7 months at the start of the game following the winter update, so he isn't going to be around for very long to be able to play any games. It'll be interesting to see how if he does develop at all over those next 5 years, and if he gets kicked out, or kind of where he goes next and what happens next. But we'll jump to there and take a look. So interesting to see that he's back in Brazil. Possibly because of that injury, he hasn't developed quite as well as you'd hoped. Acceleration and pace is low, not maybe as good as we kind of hope at 24 years of age. Work rate's not bad still, and determination is good along with flair and technique. So it might be a case that coming to Brazil is going to help him kind of revitalise his career maybe. Let's take a look at what's happened. So he was loaned out to Bayer Leverkusen for 2 years running really, costing them a little bit of money. Didn't perform too well, so I don't really know why they did renew that. Then he obviously was at Arsenal for a couple more years, didn't get any games, and then moved to Santos for £14.25 million, which he's done well in Brazil. So coming back home to Brazil has obviously inspired him to play a bit better and do a bit more with his career. It's a shame that he's got that injury at the start of the game, which looks like it does stunt his growth quite a bit. But we'll jump again, see where he's at through his prime years, if he does come back to Europe, or if kind of Brazil's his new place of home. So he has returned to Europe by the looks of things. The stats improved a lot. So his physicals have definitely got better. Still not got that as much pace as you'd probably want as a winger. But you can see his mental stats have improved as well. A lot. Off the ball work rate's good still. Anticipation, determination. So very good stats around there, along with some technique and first touch ability on the ball. Looks like he's on loan to Werder Bremen from Everton. They signed him for £15.25 million. Let's take a look at those stats. So Santos, obviously they have a big season down in Brazil, and he's played a lot of games, scoring a lot of goals and assisting a lot of goals. So he's definitely performed for them. Way too good for that league. Moved to Everton for £15.25 million. They obviously took note. Hasn't really performed in the Premier League, so it's quite a shock really that he's gone back to Brazil, kind of revitalised things, come back to England and again not performed. Off to Werder Bremen on loan, where he's done extremely well, but they are in the Bundesliga too, so maybe that's possibly why. And at the age of 29, if that's kind of your level where you're playing, it's probably not the best for you. £56,000 a week though isn't a lot of money really, and being valued at 32 million, they could still make a bit of money on him. But we'll jump again, see where he's at in the latter stages, and go from there. Now this is interesting. He's certainly flirted with European football, but it seems like heading back to South America or the Americas is certainly a place that he can kind of perform a bit better maybe. So he is now at Monterrey at the age of 34. He's never had amazing physicals, so that's not really too much of an issue. He's still got some alright mentals and okay technicals, but nothing that stands out really at 34 years of age. £26 million was spent on bringing him back to Brazil by Palmeiras, which is quite impressive really, for the amount of money. He played very well for them. He's got good ratings, good goals, good assists. Not too shabby, really. Moved off to Flamengo for 9 million, so they did quite well in getting him for a reasonably cheap price at that point. Didn't play lots, but did okay in the first season. Second season dropped off slightly. Maybe that's why he was then let go off to Monterrey in Mexico, playing a couple of games last year. Maybe he'll get a few more chances this year, depending on when he joined the club. Let's take a look at his milestones and see if he's won anything. So he won the state championship with Palmeiras, off to Flamengo, where he won the Copa Libertadores, which is a big win, and then won the Copa Sudamericana, as well as the Brazilian Cup and Brazilian National First Division, so with Flamengo. So moving to Flamengo really did help him secure a few more trophies to his name. And obviously being at Monterrey now, maybe he could even get a few more there. But we'll take a look, see if he retires, where he's at that stage, and go from there. So 34 years of age was when he retired, so not really long after we last saw him. It was only 4 appearances and 1 goal for Monterrey overall then in there. Interesting certainly to see. We saw his only single individual trophy, personal accolade, was Brazilian Sao Paulo Young Player of the Year, which is interesting certainly. He didn't make any appearances for Brazil themselves. Won 7 trophies overall in his career. 357 appearances and 104 goals. Isn't too bad, really, but when you consider that he's kind of had to go back to the Americas to really be able to get some form back. He flirted with Europe a couple of times, but never really was able to set alight anything and get anywhere with that. So he certainly performed much better in Brazil, back in his homeland. But it would be interesting to see how you guys get on with him, and if he does make it in Europe, and if you can kind of counteract that injury he has at the beginning of the game, and kind of modify that to still allow him to really develop and become a great player. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I certainly did. If you did, like, subscribe and all that good stuff, and I will catch you next time.